Welcome to RPG Blokes, the podcast for people getting into role-playing games a little later in life, or coming back to the table after a long break. In this episode, we're going to talk through some of the common types of cheating we've seen in the game over the years, and how we as players and GMs handle it when it happens. This isn't about blaming anybody, it's about awareness, consistency, and making sure everyone at the table has a good experience. And so if we call you out, apologies for that in advance. I think we'll be calling each other out, so let's be fair about it. So I begin by introducing the RPG Blokes. Stephen. In a podcast about cheats, my money is on Stephen saying very little. Listen out for how many times he says, I never knew that. Yeah.
Guilty silence.
Advance warning, don't believe a word of it. Barry will never cheat. As long as by not cheating, things work out to his advantage. He enforces the letter of the law, which is just another clever way of cheating, if you ask me.
I'm scrupulously honest.
Okay, and John has never acted dishonestly at the gaming table in his life. That is, unless you include the amount of illegal PDF game books he has on his laptop. It's truly shocking.
Harsh but fair.
If anyone is thinking of sponsoring John, don't. He's got everything he needs.
Hey, my shit's out of print. I can't afford to get or find those books.
I suppose we should start with Stephen and talk about dice cheating. There are many ways of doing it. Stephen,
why me? Why me?
Purely random selection, Steve.
You think cheating is having a dice that rolls slightly better than others? I don't class that as cheating at all. I just think that's just a decent dice, to be fair.
Can I just ask a quick question? If you were doing that in a casino, do you think you'd walk out with your legs intact?
Well, casino dice are given to you, so it's kind of, you don't bring your own dice into casino.
Oh, so the solution for Stephen is when he arrives,
if you want,
give him a set of dice.
If you want to, but to be fair to everybody, you have to give everyone the same set of dice.
I'm fine with that.
Otherwise, it's cheating.
I'm fine with that.
But that's not cheating anyway. That's just a dice that might roll better. To be honest, I can admit this. It was a long time ago. I played a Dragon Warriors game, which I'm sure everyone knows. Well, people know that you have to roll low on the dice and use a D20, but I used a D10. That was 1 to 10 twice on it. And the DM didn't realise for a little while. I did stop. I did it for a test.
So it's impossible to roll above 10?
Yeah. So it's 1 to 10 twice on a D20. And it's great for something like Dragon Warriors.
Wow.
That's cheating. The other thing is not. That's cheating, yeah? That's just an example of cheating.
So that's a cheating dice, and you can get dice that allow you to cheat.
Like, obviously...
It's rubbish in D&D, though.
Like, obviously, I've become fond of Stephen, but I'm just going to say that actually, I think that if you are rolling a dice that you know is weighted towards higher numbers, rolls more because of a manual, I do think that's a form of cheating. I think if you were doing it without that knowledge, then yeah, that's not cheating.
Well, it's only sort of like circumstantial knowledge. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, I rolled it a few times, I've done really well. It's never been tested to 1,000 to 2,000 times.
It is a form of cheating, I agree. I mean, but when we're talking about dice cheating, it's only one of the ways that people cheat with their dice.
I think that's cheating.
Like, can we talk about the fast pickup?
Yeah, fast pickup.
That was going to be the next one. What? That's the fastest I've seen you move, bruv. What? And he's going, oh yeah, that was a 19. You're like, was it?
Yeah.
Bollocks.
You know immediately it was not a 19.
Nobody picks up their dice if they've rolled a 20 or a 19, do they? They let it show. They let it go.
Exactly.
You show it off.
Exactly.
And then you're rolling a 20 and, it's already in your hand. That's a cheat, right? 100%?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. If you are claiming a number that you didn't roll to gain an advantage, you don't understand the fucking point of the game. Like, again, and I've said this in the past, I'm pretty sure I've said this in the past, like, it's about telling a story. Like, failure is an incredibly important part of any story.
Yeah. And it makes it boring if you're never going to fail.
Absolutely. And we covered this in dice superstitions. I don't have any dice superstitions. I roll all of my dice in the open. Everyone can see what I've rolled. But some of the best sessions I've ever had have come out of a session of rolling really crap. So it's like, you got captured and imprisoned, and all of a sudden you're trying to find a way to escape from jail. That is a much more fun story.
But people tend to, that's a more of a narrative thing. So you're making a non-combat dice roll potentially in those circumstances. But if you're in a fight and the narrative is you die or you don't die, perhaps that's more of an incentive to cheat.
Like making a saving throw. That's the ones that people might cheat on. It's like a life or death roll. In that moment, you need to save or you die. Seen that a few times. Yeah, people rarely fail that.
I know. I was going to say they are in D&D. You even when you lose, you're probably going to survive. Character deaths are.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
they happen. Don't get me wrong. They've happened to me. I think they've probably obviously they will have happened to you guys. Again, character death ain't that big a deal. You get to roll up another guy and play a different class.
That's how we feel about it, but that's not how everybody else does. I mean, John, you played with the DM to the kids a lot. Do you see a lot of cheating going on? Because you'd think with children it might, one of the young adults, but you'd think they'd be more inclined to do it.
I don't know. No, they react quite openly to the dice rolls. So you can see the disappointment or whatever painted on their face, or the, oh no.
As you can tell, immediately they're reacting and their emotions are tied into the role.
Yeah, so at the moment it's Warhammer. So they've got fortune points, which for those that don't know are re-rolls. And the glorious thing is when one who's got like 4 of these fortune points, and it's really important roll, and they burn through them right at the beginning of the session. And then they've got to play the rest of the session without that little fallback thing. And but it definitely registers.
Well, I think that sort of mechanic definitely takes away from the need to cheat as such. If you've got 4 re-rolls, you're more likely just to pick up and roll again and then probably be successful.
For me last night, did it?
It didn't, but I saw your face. I was thinking John's gonna cheat on this one.
Nope, I just socked.
Dice cheating, you see, I don't like the people that roll dice that they cannot tell what the dice are showing, because the colours on the dice are so hard to, I mean, I need glasses now to see any dice rolls. But
that's why I bought these ones.
Bigger dice,
I
like,
can see that shit.
Yeah, it's like the telephones they get for the older people with the big buttons.
But also, yes.
Yeah, they're pretty much just what it is. But you see people with dice that you know that they've chosen. I think they've chosen those dice because they're difficult to read, and so they're easier to kind of manipulate the rolls on.
So I'm going to come in defence of dodgy dice there. Now I've got a couple of dice sets that I find difficult to read, but when I saw them online, they looked really pretty. I didn't buy them. It was only when I started rolling them, I was like, I can't tell whether that's a 2 or a 3. Like, do you know what I mean? Or a 7 or a 17. I've no clue. But it wasn't until I started rolling them and they've just been retired. They're still very pretty, and I've still got them in my box. But I don't think people. I don't think people are picking dice that are specifically difficult to read. I think if you're going to cheat, you'll cheat with any set of dice.
The best way to cheat with dice would be the fast pickup. You think that's what people do the most? They just roll it, call it.
I think that's just a natural response to cheating, isn't it? It's just a guilty response to pick it up and go. And then they think about it a little bit, and then they go, no, I made it.
Check out RPG Blokes Plus. It's our premium service where we give you the opportunity to help pay our bills. And we guarantee you an episode every week, exclusive live plays and interviews. Now that's got to be worth £3 of anyone's money.
RPG Blokes Plus. Regular episodes for a regular you.
I played with players that just, they've got they don't even mix it up with a few bad rolls. It's just like constant 20s when they need them, and at the table, and everybody nobody says anything, do they? Because it's almost like a faux pas to bring it up, because you don't want to accuse somebody of cheating at the table.
I don't. Your memory's not serving you well there. You and I have been at a table where someone got called out.
They did get called out.
They did get called out, and it was all very polite and civil. But someone said, "I literally just saw you roll a 7." I literally just saw you roll a 7.
It don't happen very often, though. We don't call people out for cheating very often, and we know it's happening. Well, we leave the session and we go, they fucking cheated on that roll.
And like, this is the thing. If you're listening to this and you are just starting out, like, don't fucking cheat. Like, you will have more fun not cheating than you do cheating. I understand that there is an element of, like, particularly for adventurers, there is an element of glory hunting. Like, characters' motivations across all of these systems is at least in part, I want to play out these heroic things that I can't do in real life, and I want the vicarious glory. I get that. But you will have more fun if you're honest with your dice rolls. You will experience, a greater depth of despair and joy. The roller coaster ride that dice offers is worth getting on.
That's the whole point in the game.
It's the whole point of dice in the game. Is absolutely.
So none of us cheat, apart from Stephen.
Now hold on. Can we just clarify something here? So, Stephen, let's say, for example, that you noticed that a character was secretly healing themselves without telling anyone, including the DM. Would you consider that to be a form of cheating?
I do. I consider that to be a worse form of cheating.
You would consider that to be a form of cheating?
I don't think we're going to get anywhere there.
That is not cheating.
It is cheating. It's at best underhanded, but it is cheating, yeah.
Certainly bad role playing if it's a paladin.
I think in that circumstance, you have to at least tell the DM so that he can decide whether your fellow characters notice that you're doing that and get the ump about it.
But I'm not cheating because I've got the resource to do that. I'm providing my own healing to myself, and I'm just topping up. So if I lose 3 points in a combat, who's going to know? And
Did you ask the DM if that was okay to do?
No, I did not discuss that with the DM.
You should have done.
And did you give the other players a chance to notice that you were doing that to yourself, especially as you were probably asking them for healing potions?
Well, they could always say I was on full hit points. I mean, I don't know. They must.
Did they just think you were cheating?
Their lack of attention does not mean I'm cheating just because they're not paying attention.
Well, I just didn't want to call you out on it. That's why, as we discussed, they felt awkward about it. He's always on full hit points. How's this happening?
No one else can see your body language. The ferret paw.
Denial. So we move on to the next move on to the next form of cheating, I think, because
we're moving on to the one that okay.
No, but it's not what I was doing. Okay. Like health track cheating.
Oh,
people do cheat on their health track, right? On their hit points, they don't record the hit points they've lost correctly. Without a doubt, that's
that's true of every resource.
Yes,
potentially.
So all resources,
potentially. Now I've
infinite arrow loop.
I will hold my hand up, like you guys have all met me, and like admin is not a strong point for me. So there have been occasions where I've how much I love the luck feat. And I'm like, I've got my last, because you get, 3 per long list.
Your admin's pretty bad, but you can count 3.
Yeah. But I'd forgotten to cross one of them off. And I was down to 1, and I used it. And then it was about 10 minutes later when I was like, I think I might be on -1. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to say anything. What's done is done. There was no intention.
It was just, it all comes out now.
My face is just incredulous.
It all comes out.
I don't know how you can literally call me out for not cheating, just using my resources discreetly, but that's plain out cheating.
Well, like I said, time had passed by the time that I'd realised I'd made that mistake, and it was a genuine. You've seen my fucking character sheet. Like, hold on, get our if you can. We've got our Warhammer Fantasy role playing sheets. If you can read 40% of what's on there in my handwriting,
no. Let's have a look.
Yeah, but if it's really bad, he's looking at
like hand on heart, there are times where I can't read my own handwriting.
Which is a form of cheating.
Using hieroglyphs.
Is your name Piles?
No.
Okay, so it's not good.
So no, you can't read it at all. So you can't even read my freaking name. That's how bad I am at that stuff. And again, but this is a distinction worth making. Sometimes you make an honest mistake and you get an advantage from it. And sometimes you make a dishonest decision and get an advantage from it. Those are two separate and distinct things.
So we're saying that here that nobody's done that with their hit points then in the game.
I try not to, but when push comes to shove,
you've got to. And also, there's a question here about. I suppose you say it's as a player's perspective. Yeah, is it? I know I probably know the answer to this, but if a DM does it, is that cheating? Like you've got the monster stats, you've got the monster's hit points, and then they decided to double it at the last minute.
I think there's a difference between cheating as a DM and cheating as a player. But is
it possible to cheat?
It's called fudging.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, there's a word for it. Exactly. Yeah. I agree, but some people might just think DMs can cheat too.
Well, can I just?
Or can they?
If they're cheating, I want to cheat.
Exactly. He's doubling the hit points.
I mean, in Mark's defence here, Mark has probably DM'd me more than anyone, I think. And Mark does all of his roles out in the open. So you don't give so you might be able to fudge resources and hit points and stuff like that, but you don't fudge any of your roles as a DM.
DMs are the worst cheats in the world, generally.
Because I like to roll in the open to make sure that you feel that. There's that fairness there.
Yeah. I mean, and I kind of worry as well that sometimes, I think we all know DMs fudge from time to time, and they're doing it because they want to move.
Kill you.
They want to move. No, they want to move the story forward. I actually think most of the DMs that I've experienced would probably fudge the other way. Like they would be hesitant to kill one of their characters.
We know
They would-
DMs that have been the opposite, but
They
most
go
DMs, I
both
think you're
ways,
right.
you're right.
Yeah, most.
Yeah, because DMs want everyone to have a good time, right? They want it to carry on, and you
Even
know,
if they have to cheat to maintain that. But
yeah. Like I said, I don't like DM screens. I think all of the roles should be in the open, and I actually think if that means a PC is dead, that means a PC is dead. Get your dice out.
I think if
roll
we're
another
going
one.
for rules as written type thing, everyone's going for the dice. The DM should follow that rules too.
I think
to
so.
set the example.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like when DMs roll behind a screen
No.
because I
I think that's cheating, and I just don't like it too
Well,
much.
so-
Yeah.
There's go.
Technically, when I'm running Shadowrun online, they can't see my dice. Doesn't help. I consistently roll up really, really shit. But
I suppose online it's
Yeah.
acceptable.
yeah,
You
but
can do
last
it.
Monday I've rolled a poor full of like 5s and 6s, which is massive. It's on a D6, the system, and I felt really bad. But stuff happens.
Did they call you out? Did
No.
they say, no way did you do that? You must be fucking cheating.
I think they're just used to me going, oh fuck, when there's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But as regards DM fudging, narratively, so the biggest thing with say a end of boss level fight is you've often got one big boss and the party.
Yeah.
So action economy, that boss is going to get absolutely rinsed. Or you roll poor initiative, and the big cool thing that it gets to do, whether it
All right.
that doesn't get to happen.
Okay, so you would fudge under those circumstances.
Actually, no, but it is really disappointing.
Double hit points
Um,
and stuff. Yeah.
So I have done that, but I've done that because not all the party got to act, and they've all got like a class feature or a bit of cool shit that they want to do. So the boss is still going last, but having the first couple of fighters get it and everyone else just sit around, that's
It's a
anticlimactic.
shame
I want
when it
everyone
happens,
to
yeah.
pile in and do their thing. Then it dies.
Especially if it's the end of a campaign or
Yeah.
a boss encounter, it's anticlimactic. I agree. I'd normally play it out and let it become anticlimactic because I find that if I'm fudging, I find then I'm competing with the players, and I start to get a little bit anxious about the way that the game's going and how far can I go? What am I doing here? And I think the players quite appreciate an easy win sometimes, even if it's the boss. I mean, it sometimes it can be good for them to know that
Yeah.
they've got everything right. It just went their way, and it happens. And I think it gives more credibility to you as a DM to do that and present it in that way.
So one example I'm thinking of is you was reffing Warhammer to, well, it was part of it. There was a swamp troll or something came charging out, and that was supposed to be like the session fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We all turned around, we got initiative, we shot the absolute fuck out of it. It dropped before it even got to us. And yes, it was brilliant that happened, but there was definitely a sense of, hang on, there should have been something else.
Should have been. It's a great creature. It had loads of extra abilities to use against you. I was looking forward to it being a real challenge.
That's when you have two of them.
Yes.
Yeah, a bit of thought planning, I think, when it comes to those sort of boss fights. I think if you plan it as a DM, and it kind of works out to your plan. But I think if you stick to the plan, don't change it during the actual
Don't you?
session. So it
basically.
just feels like, it feels like the goalposts are being moved sometimes when you're playing a game, and suddenly, whoa, hang on.
Experienced players can
there
spot
is-
it as well.
Yeah,
that's
it's kind of like
the
we're
other-
aiming for this, then we're aiming for something else.
Yeah, there is why you do it, though. Like I say, if you letting everyone else have a go, I think
It's a bit
that's valid.
patronising, but yeah, so
Not if they're all keyed up and
Yeah,
having a
yeah.
chance to do the thing.
everyone wants to do their thing. Yeah,
The other part of it, from a DM's point of view, is I feel as if I'm doing that, it feels transparent to me. Because I know I'd spot somebody else doing that to me, and we often DM to each other, all very experienced DMs and players. I've got more respect for you guys than to do it, because I think, doubling the troll number and suddenly another troll climbs out of the water, out of the river. If you've got a young group of players or a novice group, you do that, you get away with it. But I think you don't get away with it when you're
yeah,
DMing
so we do all our stuff on the first troll, and then another one comes out the water.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you get the grim, perilous
You do,
encounter.
but you think, you cheated, but fine. And then someone dies, someone loses a fate point. The DM feels good about it, but the player's going, you don't do
Okay, so the example, Grendel and Beowulf.
Hmm.
And after he took hold of that, the mum
I think
That's
it's planned.
a prime example of the writer going, hang on, that was too easy.
He should have taken the rubber, deleted everything and gone back to the beginning again. So from a DM's point of view, cheating comes in other forms. You can fudge your dice rolls as well, but narratively speaking, if you can play around with hit points that monsters have and things like that, we tend to avoid it. But yeah, I don't think... If you start thinking like that, Barry, I mean, you've always thought that DMs have been fairly transparent and on the level with you. You've never had that feeling that a DM is increasing the challenge as you successfully deal with things in a live environment. Are you finding that at all?
I don't think so. I think my DMs have always been like pretty straight with me, and there've been occasions where I'm pretty sure that as a group of players, we did better than expected and moved through something a bit quicker, which has meant that the DM has had to kind of move on to material that they're not necessarily prepared for. But I don't think I'd appreciate like you just said, oh, that was really easy. Here's another troll coming out like that. Yeah, that would jar me because it was like, this was the encounter. We've done it. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's right. That's the way we like to DM. So you'd expect that from your DM. I suppose if you sense your DM's doing that, it makes it more likely you, as a cheat, you might employ some of these other tactics to your own advantage.
It becomes a bit adversarial, doesn't it, between the player and DM, and then it all kicks off, Yeah,
we're talking to talk about PvP in future podcasts, player versus player, but this is DM versus
PvD.
player. Yeah. That is another dynamic that you should really try and avoid.
Again, it's the reason behind it. If it's for the narrative or something, that's a different thing. But yeah, not.
No, but it's funny.
I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I'm giving it triple hit points.
Until someone dies.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because we talk about, and I've said I don't particularly like the phrase, but the collaborative storytelling element of this game does kind of go out the window when you start rolling combat dice. Like, every DM that I've seen that has been playing the NPCs or the monsters or whatever in combat has tried to play them optimally. Like, do you know what I mean? That like they are rooting for the NPCs that they're playing. Yeah. They are trying to beat.
Yeah, it does become adversarial.
They're trying to win the combat, but I want that from them. I want them to be trying to. I don't want to breeze through the combat. I want there to be jeopardy. I want there to be, oh my God, this could be it. Oh my God, I could go down. One more hit, and I'm
going. You want it to be fair, though.
Yeah. Yes.
So this is covering, I think, resource management cheating that can happen as a DM as well as a player. Now, this next one I've got here, it's only the players that can cheat in this manner. Reading up on the adventure.
For fuck's
very sad.
What's wrong with people?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with people? Yeah.
It happens a lot.
I just don't get it.
It makes me very sad.
Yeah, I just I want that stuff to be revealed to me during the gameplay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, okay, so I could kind of understand it if it was like, so when I started playing D&D, I sort of imagined that it was going to be full of like tedious puzzles and stuff like that. It kind of isn't. Like, I could sort of get it if every week you were having to answer a riddle, because the reality is if the players, you don't know it, you don't fucking know it.
You just want to get over and done with.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying that I would do that, but I'd sort of understand it. But that isn't the case. What you're doing is spoiling the story. Yeah. And these are the same people who, if you mention the episode after whatever series they're watching that they're on, they'll dig you out for giving them spoilers.
Yeah. That's all people would read the last page of a book as well, I think.
What is the psychology of a player that requires them to sort of come to a session and know how to navigate, not, pretty much everything, they encounter during the evening.
In a dungeon or something, like Dungeons and Dragons, and they know exactly where all the items are hidden.
Yeah.
It's a problem. It is a massive problem, and unfortunately it gets worse if you don't call it out. People feel empowered about it, and it does escalate. And they're a bit more brazen about it.
Yeah. Because it's so easy to do now.
It's probably best to take them aside and call them out, if I'm honest, and thinking back. But it's kind of, I've had I won't name any names, but players long time ago, ages ago, that went to certain walls and dungeons and searched for secret doors and looked underneath things for secret passages and then found the item that's hidden there. Weird. How did that happen?
Because the PDFs, you can just search them online and read them within a second of doing so. And I suppose if you're bored and you're thinking about the game, it sometimes might be tempting to say, did that just happen? I want to check whether it should have done or what the DM's slant on it. I suppose there are reasons but wait until you finish the adventure if you want to do that.
Yeah.
And then ref it.
And then, but I'll give people a warning on it. I think as an experienced DM, it stands out like a country mile when people are doing it.
It does, yeah.
And you can spot them very easy. And it does spoil the enjoyment of me as a DM when I see people do that. Because what they're doing is they're, like Barry, you're saying the dice take you in random directions, so why would you cheat on the dice? I think when you've got a player that is determined to do everything the right way and knows the path through the adventure, that stops a random element of the game that I enjoy as a DM as well.
Yeah.
And it's the same effect.
And it's one of the things that comes up in game quite a lot if you're playing it honestly. You reach a destination and then something that you sort of circumvented 3 sessions ago turns out was really fucking important.
Yeah,
you're like, oh shit. But that's the reality element to it. Like, I didn't connect that thing that happened 3 weeks ago to this thing that we're doing now, and as a result of that, we are now at a disadvantage. And disadvantages are interesting. Being up against it. It's the challenges that you face along the way that make the story interesting. Why would you?
Is it fair to say then people who do cheat and with dice and this don't want to be at a disadvantage? I think they're the sort of people that would do it at all.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to be at a disadvantage because if you read the scenario, you have an advantage that you know what you're doing and you sound very intelligent as you solve everything. And the fact that if you're picking up your dice and not losing, you just not losing, are you? So you just obviously don't want to be at a disadvantage. You just don't feel comfortable being at a disadvantage.
I do. It's not that
they don't want to put themselves in that position.
It's not that I don't understand it at all. I do. Everyone wants to be impressive. Everyone wants to be thought of as, I don't know, clever or dynamic or do you know what I mean? And like, I get that, taking these cheats might make you appear to be that. But if it was me, it'd be like, yeah, but I know I'm a twat. Like, do you know what I mean? I know I haven't earned any of this. Like, if you are getting any respect from your fellow players for I haven't really earned that.
No.
Like, I just don't.
It's the hardest one for me to understand, and it's one of the few traits within a player that if I knew it was happening, I would not want them at my table. I can deal with dice cheats. I can deal with many of the other things. But that one,
the reading ahead.
Yeah, the reading ahead and reading up, that's the one that's a breaker for me. John, have you experienced much of that?
It used to be the same thing with like a monster stats. People would swat up on the monster manual, stuff like that, and woe betide the ref that slightly varied the armor class of the ogre or some.
I suppose we can move on to a bit of that metagaming, really, isn't it? Do you consider that to be a form of cheating?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because you've got the knowledge. You can't undo that knowledge in your head.
Yeah, but it, like Barry said, it's more fun to play if you against that. If, there's certain things that people know, certain common creature weaknesses. If I say trolls, everyone will know the one I mean.
And you can account for those.
Spoilers.
But
yeah.
You think
so
it's more
common knowledge. If the character's got creature law, make them roll on it. If not, they've got to spend at least a round or two. Not, I've heard this name, like, we're expecting to meet that in a week. Let's stock up on this and this just for that.
So you think it'd be more fun to role play, even though you know it as a player, to role play a character that doesn't have that knowledge? Yeah. There's an enjoyment in having that dynamic between you and the game.
Part of that is the responsibility of the ref. If someone's playing to that, then you go with it. You don't punish them for not stocking up on the thing that you know the player.
Yeah, okay. So you could always reward that kind of play.
Make sure there's, that resource is nearby narratively or something like that. Campfire, whatever.
I'm just saying, it goes back to putting yourself at a disadvantage willingly then, aren't you? So if you know that you can't hurt this iron golem with a non-magic weapon, yet you throw yourself at it with a non-magic weapon for 15 rounds.
Well, it's not 15. Once you hit it a couple of times, you'll feel it. That's
how many players do that?
Yeah.
How many?
Not many. Everyone does it for one round and go, okay, that's it. I realised I didn't hurt it at all. That's it. I'm going to swap to my +5 mace.
You always say to the DM, what does my character know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And tell me what
I think most people, I'm not sure it's cheating.
But see, that's something that I don't have a problem with. Because if you're like me and you're not like well versed in the lore, obviously it's improving through osmosis. I think, asking the DM, would my character know anything about this, is a perfectly reasonable question. Because as a player, I don't know whether my character, I don't know whether this is a really common thing for people in Ravenloft or wherever to know, or whether this is something that like it's unlikely. I don't have a problem with asking that. I do have a problem with players using the knowledge that they have that their character blatantly doesn't. And it's always been for me like one of the things that I've noticed about, or that I've thought about with DMs. Like, it must be really hard because you have kind of an intimate knowledge of the monster stats and stuff like that. So when you're playing as a player, it must be quite hard not to go, oh, you know, I reckon that's probably got about 60 hit points.
Yeah, you do use it to your advantage, but you try and do so discreetly. So, you know, if you know that that's a pretty tough encounter, I can always maneuver myself to do that. It's hard not to do that and use that. I suppose that's a little bit of cheating involved. Completely.
That goes back to the narrative thing of adjusting a scene to fit like the appropriate threat level, and stuff like that. So,
yeah. But Barry, you would find if somebody else was to use meta knowledge quite quickly in an encounter that you have no familiarity with, that would affect your enjoyment of the encounter at least, if not the game.
It's going. The nature of that encounter has changed, and it shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it. If I, as a player, know that a monster is, I don't know, vulnerable to force damage, do you know what I mean? My character doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And you know, okay, I don't think it's unreasonable that if as a player you know, okay, this creature is vulnerable to force damage, so I'm going to go through a process of making my character discover that.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay. If you kind of manipulate your character towards finding that out, I think that's a fair enough way of reconciling that. But just coming in and going Eldritch Blast because I know it's got force damage is bullshit.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that would be cheating, I'd say. But I think most people don't do that, to be fair, in my experience. They do. Even if they do know, they sort of like spend at least a round going, oh, no, okay, then I'll try this. That's right.
And I've had players be super honest about that at the table as me. They'll turn to you and go, oh, well, I know X, Y, Z, but this guy doesn't.
No, so then it's at least
a couple of rounds later, you're like, now we're right.
That's what you want to hear. As a DM, John, how would you deal with a player that just literally just immediately assumes that his character knows everything he does and he's well read?
Change it.
Yeah, okay.
This is where pyro trolls and stuff like that came about, purely for people like that.
Yeah. Okay, for grognards that sort of want to cheat on the rules.
It's a thing. But you've got got
cheating against a cheater. Is that acceptable?
Justice.
Okay.
Counter cheating.
It's fine. Someone's got a word for it. It's going to note for my lawyer. That's all I'm saying.
But some things are. If someone's locked into like knowing what a creature is or what, most games now, 5th edition, Shadowrun, they have like threat levels or particular types. So you can get, say, an orc, but it might be a sneak, it might be a brute, it might be something else.
Okay. So you would add those variations in immediately, knowing that you have a player at the table that's going to be a know-it-all, and just do that.
I mean,
it's more work, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but that can stop once you just look them in the eye and tell them, that's not working. So,
okay. So moving on, and this is another one I find that players do, and it's really it's confrontational in a way. To take back an action or pretending they didn't say something in exactly the way that they said it, and you kind of forward the narrative, and then suddenly they object to the outcome, and you say, well, you know, it's really difficult, but
no, it is, isn't it? It's like when the DM says something like, "So where are you all standing?" And you're like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah. That's what we got figures out the other day. We spoke about that, didn't we? About having a figure-based scenario, so they can't argue about where they're standing. But
so where are we all standing? When a DM says that, it's normally because he's lost track of where people are standing, right? But that gives you an opportunity to change where you were standing. But the DM has a kind of idea.
I think I was still at the
Well,
end.
no,
I
but
think.
the thing is, as a player, you don't know whether it's because he's lost track of it or whether it's because he's got something like sublimely evil planned.
Yeah, and he just wants to double check.
I'm just trying to work out which one of you is on the trapdoor.
The worst one is so who went into the room. That's the one, isn't it? Like everyone did, and it's just one person and it ends up being in that room.
No, and then you're like, but
Hang on, you're halfway through looting that chest. And
Everyone was.
So who was in this room then?
and you're like, but hold on, you were talking to me.
Yeah. Were you shouting? There we go. Encounter roll, bitches.
It is,
Famous
yeah. It's
last
like
words,
that
yeah.
film Stripes, and with Bill Murray and the lion, and he steps forward and pretends to step forward, and everyone else does, and he just stands back. I think there's a lot of that goes on in the game.
Yeah.
And you often talk about talking in third person perspective and first, and you think that talking in third person allows you to take advantage of this level.
It does, because you're kind of asking the DM, if I did this, would this happen? Technically, is what you're doing, and so you're getting a response before then making a decision. You go, well, I wouldn't do that then.
But a DM might get confused by that.
Yeah,
So
they do. They expose more, I think. If you just go first person and say, I am doing this, it's very finite and finished. But it says, well, if I do this.
So, for instance, that's play out a little thing. Like you're going up to a chest, and this chest is a threat to you. How would you then approach it in a third person perspective?
Oh, yeah. It's a
Tell
good
the
question.
barbarian the chest looks interesting.
Yeah.
Stand
So,
back.
so if I went up to it, what would it look like? And
Yeah, it's a chest. It's you can see it's got a lock, but it doesn't look locked. You could just open it.
does it look like I could smash it open?
Yeah.
So if I did smash it open, would people get injured?
Um,
Are people near enough to?
so are you smashing it open?
I didn't say that.
Okay, so for me, the response,
I'll get information from you there.
the response there is guess how you find out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, but you have to
Exactly.
realise it's happening.
So I'm working away in my head to make sure that you open this chest, right? So you're
Well, I'm just asking if anyone else is the collateral damage. If I actually did smash it, people will where people standing. But
So-
anyway, no, I've already got the information.
Then I go. So where is
Yeah.
everyone standing? And then you're outside the room and nowhere
Yeah.
near the chest, right? Because you were talking about the chest from about 30 feet
no,
away.
it's I was nowhere near it. Then you would say, yeah, the traps get sprung. I was, well, I wasn't near it. I was talking if I went up to it, if I smashed it.
Yeah.
And then you go, and then you slap your head like that. Go.
So we found another form of cheating that Stephen employs.
So it's effective though, isn't it?
Tactical
but I've
misdirection.
I wasn't there.
I've worked out where you're going wrong. In order to discourage this, you need to slap their head,
Yeah.
not your head.
Yeah, it's true. Eventually you do. I don't often do that, but I do. Maybe I do. It's a bit subconscious, but it is a way of not being there yet finding out information.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we'll force people into first person perspective, I
Yeah,
suppose.
just immediate actions is the best thing to do. To say, yeah, are you opening the chest? Yeah,
But taking back actions, again, John, have you encountered that a lot with the younger players? Is that something that they get a little bit?
No, they do get cautious, and there is the thing of what will happen if I do that, or if I do that, will that happen?
Yeah.
And it's guess how you find out. That's
you'll be clued in.
there is, if it's a knowledge thing like Barry brought up earlier, then if the character's got a knowledge skill, they get to roll on it. That's a different thing. But for physical actions, it's
Okay.
it is what it is.
But this is the thing, isn't it? I'm trying to remember what campaign it was. It was definitely anyway. It was when I was playing Tam. Tam was a brilliant character. Loved Tam to bits. Swashbuckler rogue, legend through and through. But I remember Ollie, our DM at the time, specifically saying to me, I was discussing options, kind of like, like, I'm not, I'm owning it. But he looked me dead in the eye and he went, yeah, if you do that, that's probably the end of Tam.
Oh, we go.
I want you to know that.
There you go.
And I was like, okay, fair enough. Because it was a stupid thing, but I am known for doing the stupid
But
thing.
if you just went straight out and did it,
then I would have been dead.
Yeah.
So it is a fine line. And again, this has come up so often throughout this podcast. It is about having the quality of DM who can spot that stuff, reconcile it, and decide, because I wasn't trying to cheat.
I don't think most people do it. It's just testing them away.
He gave me, that's a big heads up, let's be honest.
Yeah.
That is a big heads
But
up.
you must have felt that you deserved that in the manner in which you were playing in general, generally speaking, the character.
You've played with me. I couldn't play it anymore. I could not
Just
play
honest.
any more honestly than I do. It's not possible.
The art's on your sleeve.
And I think and I'll say this to people, like I quite like having a connection with my characters. I've had some characters that I've been like, oh my God, he was so much fun and he was a badass. And but don't get so connected to them that you're going to cheat to stop them from dying. If that's their story, that's their story. Roll up another one, you get to roll another legend.
Yeah, that's what cheats miss out on.
Yeah.
I think that feeling that something is not under their control. They're passing over control to the scenario or to the DM. They don't like perhaps relinquishing that control over their
and you
character.
see it quite often as well, don't you? People making choices that aren't necessarily the end of their character in terms of the end of their character's life, but the end of the relevance of their character, that campaign. Like they go off or they find somewhere and they think, my guy would settle here. My guy has come far enough. And I like that when people make that decision as well. When people make the decision that, and again, I think it's about not being a glory hunter, not only being in it for that. That guy's story ended there. Roll up a new character.
Yeah, I love it. Especially having a player that can accept that.
That is role-play maturity, though, isn't it? We've been playing for such a long time. Some of the memories I have of this cheating, I was young at the time, and people, when they first start, are more inclined, I think, to do that.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think until you really understand the hobby, I do think there is the temptation to play it in such a way that it's all about you winning and glory is strong.
I think it is. It's a starting point for some people.
Yeah.
With great knowledge comes great responsibility, because some people misquote rules. And if you've got the guy on the table that you're kind of relying on to, sometimes as a DM, some players know a hell of a lot more about the game than you do. And those players can become very valuable. But sometimes, and I have had players like this, that they're cherry picking their rules, right, for themselves primarily, but then sometimes for other people. Do you find players like that?
Yeah, certainly. People have quoted rules, then I've gone back and looked at it and they've kind of missed out a paragraph or something at the end. You think, okay, that does change it slightly, but yeah, maybe less so of that one, because I generally check the rules myself. Generally, I don't trust the players as much as you do.
Yeah, I do.
I generally go, okay, I'm going to look at that one. I'm going to have to look at that one just to double check. I pretty much do that 99% of the time. I just don't trust anyone. But you obviously trust people too much.
I do, and because I don't have time to focus on the rules. I'm happy to give them the chance to sort. But sometimes you get to the end of the session and you think, did they do that right? And you look it up and you find out they didn't.
They've missed a bit. Yeah.
John, have you had any?
I've found that more with Raffing 5th edition D&D, because I'm not familiar with it. So a lot of the spells and stuff, they'll have like the main paragraphs. Normally, I learn hear what the spell is and check it afterwards between the session.
Yeah.
Let it slide for the narrative. At the beginning or on the Discord, put up the actual thing, and that's what it was, and that's it. We move on. Most of my players on Wednesday are really new, but they're really good. They don't
they don't
deliberately.
play any of that.
No.
So it's never deliberate. I suppose it's difficult to spot a deliberate act of somebody doing that.
Even if it is, you just clarify it between. So everything still flows, everything still happens, and if something doesn't happen next time, it doesn't happen next time.
So you have rules
it's
as
not
written
an issue.
or rules as intended. And so,
I mean, I'm a bugger for the rule of cool as well.
Yeah, okay.
If someone wants to tweak a spell description, so it still does the same thing but different, half the time I'm going to go with it if it's it's awesome.
Barry, you got an angle, anything to mention on this? You've never employed that yourself? Have you thought about, well, that could be read this way, or it could be read that way, or if I
with no knowledge comes no responsibility. So no, I'm good. No, so I think this is a genuine thing. I think you can have two people read exactly the same rule and interpret it differently, and I don't think that's a flaw with the way it's written. I think that's just, it comes up in work all the time with policy. You'll have a manager read a policy, and then you read the policy, and you're like, we think this says different fucking things and it's the same words.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand that there will always be some questioning and stuff like that. But like I'm with John, if it isn't an outrageous cheat, the rule of cool. I have no problem with a DM going, yeah, I'm going to let that happen because that pushes the story forward. That's the most important thing. I mean, you know me, I kind of have picked quite a lot of this stuff up with osmosis now, and I will be like, oh no, I don't think that's, like, if it's important and it's changing the narrative massively, I will be like, I don't think we're applying that rule 100% correctly.
So you're calling it out at the right times.
But I'll say it in such a way as, can we just check that?
There is a DM in you, Barry. There has to be. Barry, that's exactly how I feel about it, because don't call out the little things. Pick your battles in a way.
Yeah.
And if it's going to
totally.
affect the narrative, then it's worth
it's
a
a
double
character
check.
death or something like that, then look that shit up.
It was you were using time stop, and you were using and it was a combat encounter, and and this was when you were DMing, so it's not just calling it out with players.
No.
You got to stay on top of your DM as well.
Yes.
I was like, can we just check that, Mark? Because I don't think you're using that rule entirely correctly, and you weren't. It wasn't. You weren't cheating. In fact, if memory serves me correctly, it was because it had changed from one of the old editions, and you was applying it from a previous edition, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they do. Things were harsher in previous editions. You're continually getting caught out with a 5th edition.
Time Stop's still pretty good in 5th edition, I remember, but yeah.
So the thing, if memory serves me correctly, with time stop, the minute you attack someone, it stops, and you were using it to try and slaughter
As soon as
assault.
you do damage,
as soon as you do damage, it stops.
So you've got to do damage in the last round of it.
Yeah,
That's right.
And delay blast fireball is the way to do it, and then just leave it, and do a few of those, and then time stops, and they all go off. Yeah,
jeez,
that's what it encourages.
Because it's a Cyric encounter. That's the only time I've used it.
That's the encounter that Barry's talking about.
Yeah,
Cyric at the end of Tomb of Horrors. Tomb of Annihilation.
Tomb of Annihilation. So you get time stops.
Spoilers for anyone that
there's spoilers there.
Whoopsie.
Do you know what? I think that's the first time that we've had a spoiler, though.
Edit it out.
Gosh, he's got time stop.
Just bleep
and it didn't do him any good.
We definitely haven't just edited
for me,
that
actually,
section.
But you cheated, obviously.
I had a player that was really, really doing the encounter, knew everything, but I won't even go into it. It was he completely and utterly nerfed the encounter himself, and it was an anticlimactic encounter because of one player. Yeah. And we can move on to the last point here.
I just want to do one other little bit about the wording of spells and stuff. One of the biggest discrepancies we found was the difference between, say, a spell restores hit points or gives you hit points. And that can change how someone does something. So if they're casting a spell to try to gain bonus hit points, but the spell only regains, then that will change it. But again, you find that out between sessions or something like that. It's little bits like that you got to look for.
There's a lot of things like that.
Yeah, it's not cheating. It's just
okay.
If you read it quickly.
Repeat offenders, though. I don't know.
I haven't had that.
No, you've not had that.
It's
never
been good.
had,
it's just been the way it is.
All right. So moving on to the next part, I think, which is something that affected me in that encounter, and this is min-maxing. I think that's cheating.
No, I don't think that's cheating. That's part of the game.
But it is if the DM tells you don't do it, and everybody else has not done it, and then one player comes along and does it.
It's antisocial. It's not cheating.
If someone turns up with a pre-gened character sheet and it's 18 in everything, call that shit.
Yeah, I had some.
But that's not min-maxing. That's just maxing out.
Isn't
it? I mean, min-maxing is using the rules to your advantage and making everything that makes you stronger in combat, throwing it into that at the detriment of anything else, and it does
happens,
work. Works very well.
I don't think that's cheating. I think that's fair game, to be fair.
I mean, if it's a solo computer game, I will do that all the time. Same as a fighting fantasy game book. You assume you win the fight because it's just going back over everything otherwise. But the puzzles and stuff, those you go through. But
the trouble is, if you max out your combat stats, you're at an advantage. If you max out your intelligence stats and you come across a puzzle, the DM doesn't say make an intelligence roll, you solve the puzzle. You're stuck there with your own brain power having to work that out. So
this is about cheating. That's about getting an advantage, but that's not cheating.
If the DM says no min-maxing, okay.
Well, why? That's cheating for the DM, isn't it? That's a DM cheat. No min-maxing, please, so my venture will lose.
Okay, so I think min-maxing is less fun, but I don't think it's cheating.
Yeah.
Did anyone see the video fairly recently of, I can't remember her name, but she was interviewing, I can't remember his name either. What's the guy who played the Punisher? Joe Benthal? Anyway, she was, she did this, like, do you want to play D&D? And he was like, yeah. And she was like, no, right now. And she went and she did it. And then, they were talking about Jack stuff like that. But then he said, and I think it was a really good question. He was like, why don't you, so you create your sheet? And she was like, yeah. She said, well, why don't you just make it so that you're brilliant at everything? And she was like, because flaws are interesting. weaknesses are interesting.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, min-maxing, you're not brilliant at
No,
everything.
I know.
You're only brilliant at one thing. That's the thing
yeah.
about it. As a DM, you shouldn't be worried about it because they're shit at everything else.
And it happens to be combat all the time.
Yeah, but if it's not all about combat, then they are really rubbish at other stuff, and in the end, they will regret that decision.
Well, and
they
again,
will change their character.
And I suppose
in my experience,
it is up to the DM to allocate those consequences, isn't it?
They do. I've had plenty of players min-max, and they get bored of their play. They get bored of their very quickly.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I get it. Like, if I'm playing a warlock, I'm putting my highest dice roll in charisma. But beyond that, I am making genuine
I think it's
decisions.
more interesting to not min-max.
Yeah.
They get bored of it
Yeah.
incredibly fast.
But it's really difficult to balance an encounter for a group of players that only one of them's min-max. So if you stage the encounter for the strongest one to challenge him, the rest of them have got no sort of, they've got
the rest
no
of them
agency
die,
in
then
it.
they make up new characters min-max, which is the natural selection
I
of
suppose,
things.
yeah.
It's
Go
the
that
way
way.
it is.
That's a balance problem. I had this when I was in the early days of reffing Shadowrun, not with my current group. We had a troll with this combat axe thing and just went around moshing everything, which was great. But the rest of the party was more roleplay based, investigative, and if a fight or when a fight kicked off, because the troll initiated combat as a first option, other people got mullered, and you've got that whole balance thing. You might find it in other games if a fighter charges off all the time, but
It's other people killed all the
it's
time.
situational.
Yeah. I think if you're, I don't like it min-maxing. I think it's a form of cheating. I think it's unnecessary. Most people wouldn't do it. You look at the game, you look at the game and you want to create a character, you just do so naturally. You don't think, I'm going to make sure my combat stats is where I'm loading everything up into.
Right, hold on. Is it against the rules?
It is if the DM asks you not to do it.
Right, okay. Is it against the rules as written?
No.
Then it isn't cheating as written. I agree with you. It's not a fabulous way to play the game, but it isn't cheating. It isn't dishonest. It's not. It is literally honest. Your stats are there for everyone to see.
I think most people don't min-max that, but everybody, if they pick a character, are good at something.
Yeah.
Everyone's better at something than other people, but they're the people that use the rules that slightly maybe bend the rules. That's when the cheating can come in.
Break the rules. They can actually do.
This is why point buys.
Then that's going to a different level of min-maxing. If you're using the rules just to be good at, if you're a fighter, you've got good edge strength and crap charisma.
Breaking the rules has happened quite often with min-maxing. Some systems don't.
Some spells allow you to kind of break the rules a little bit, like the spells that heal you. If you have creatures, you can sacrifice, and some things you can
the bag of rats.
Some systems can't survive min-maxing. They literally break down. Cyberpunk, 20.
But that's badly written systems, isn't it? Yeah.
Can I clarify something here? Because you just said min-maxing breaks the rules, but then you went on to say about how it breaks a system. So when you say it breaks the rules, you mean the rules?
It breaks the game. It means
breaks
the system.
the game.
Yeah, it breaks the game.
Yeah, okay.
Because you've got one player that is just, it's become so obscenely powerful that you cannot do anything with that.
Should be for these things.
Yeah.
But
so because of that, that's why some systems are brought in point-based stuff like Shadowrun, the later editions. You allocate your points anyway, but you can only put so many points in that, so many points in that. D&D's got it on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
You've got your
different
allocations. So everyone can allocate, but they're maxed out to a certain point. It's not, I definitely randomly rolled all those 18s. It's not a thing.
Yeah, that's cheating within character generation. That happens a lot, doesn't it? That's dice roll cheat in the game, where you have a character come along and you think, you've rolled those, come on. Be serious. But the meta cheating, I think, like you say, it isn't by the rules. It is.
I've never generated a character in private.
No,
like that's just an easy fix.
Yeah,
that's session 0. You're rolling your stats in front of everyone that you're playing with. Just remove that temptation and that opportunity. Because that's just too easy.
Yeah.
So session 0 is always a good option for that.
Well, and session 0 is a really good fun as well. It's not just about making sure that everyone creates their character fairly. I really like how you end up talking about it and where you're going. Like, do you know that stuff's worth doing?
We've enjoyed doing that. I hope you guys listened to it and enjoyed our session 0 as well. That's the time to do it. Yeah, and make sure all dice rolls are seen in character generation. I've always done that myself. Make sure people see each other's dice rolls. It's important because otherwise you're going to be having character envy for the campaign, aren't you? Looking at somebody else's statistics and thinking, "There's, at least I saw him roll them. I can deal with that a little bit easier." Okay, I think we're at the end then. Unless anybody has anything to add, any other forms of cheating that they may have personally.
I'll keep that to myself. Actually, any more forms of cheating?
Well, I was going to.
Professional tip.
I was going to ask us all in turn, what if they were to cheat or they have cheated? Which one of the things we've spoken about is their weakness? Is the one that they might be more inclined to do? So I'll start with you, Barry. Be honest, it's a confession booth now.
Well, I've already admitted to doing it, and it was genuinely unintended. But I think the resource management, because I think as well with everyone knowing about my dyslexia and my ADHD, I also think people would, if I was doing it deliberately, people would be inclined to think that I wasn't.
Yeah,
good cover. I like it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of that. I think. Yeah, most of us agree with that. Arrow count and the things like that. John, what's yours?
I'm mostly forgetful. So, I mean, stuff like last night, I lost track of the wounds and stuff like that when I got walloped.
Senility? Is that senile?
Yeah, okay.
That's a cover.
I've always been a fuckwit. That's
everyone's got excuses.
It's reasons.
Actual cheating, John. Not pretend cheating.
Yeah, when I was young, I had in stacks of character sheets with 18s and everything and 3 in charisma to balance it out. Never played them. No one wanted to, and that's fair. But it passed the time.
So, if you were generating a character on your own, would you be inclined to cheat?
It's a solo computer game, something like that.
Okay,
absolutely max the fuck out of it because I'm not interested in going back for that. But for a party, no. Not in co-op play.
So we have a pure soul at the table. That's great.
Well done.
You take that,
Stephen.
Well, you lot think that having sort of like dice that roll well cheating. So yeah, sign me up for that one. And well, I've already admitted I use a D10 instead of a D20 in a game. That was a long time ago. I think I've done them all. Really, resource management. I'm sure I've sort of added a few things on. I'm pretty sure I have. I've been playing long enough. I mean, I'll be fair. I've probably done them all. Apart from the reading, I can't take the reading. I would never do that.
Okay. I love you, Stephen. It's like you spend the whole time telling us about how you're not a cheat. We do the episode on cheating, and you end with, I think I've done it all.
To be fair, I'm going to be honest. I've been playing for like a long time, 40
That's
odd
just
years.
The ones he's admitted to.
No, but do you know what?
No dark.
Sorry, I know you said we're coming to an end, but I think that's a really, really, really important distinction. There is a big for me, there is a big difference between a 9-year-old cheating and a 39-year-old cheating. Now, I can understand that temptation is harder to resist when you were a child and you want to do well. It needs to be dealt with, but it's dealt with in a very different way to if it's a grown-ass
I'd just like to say
man.
now I do not cheat in any way, shape or form. I just want you to know that, okay?
Apart from the dice.
And speak to my lawyer, right? That's not cheating.
It's all on record now. Yeah, I personally, I try and avoid most of them. Dice cheating is the one I'm least likely to do of the lot.
And I think the thing dice cheating is, again, I think you're right, because that is just properly dishonest. But the reading ahead thing, I think that should be
illegal.
We should be punishing that in the harshest possible terms.
Yeah, you can see it.
Like you lose a pinky for each time, and then all your fingers and toes are gone. That's a really, because that fucking spoils it for absolutely everyone, because you're denying other people opportunities to naturally solve those puzzles, know where those items are, find those items and stuff like that. Yeah, for me, that's the big one. It's a huge one.
That is the biggest no-no.
In the early days of the hobby, that was like a trope. You'd have the Knights of the Dinner Table comic, and they had particular characters in that would be yelling at the ref because room 4E has definitely not got those cop holes in it. It's got this and this. It was apparently a thing.
Well, and presumably, I know you guys have been around the block a lot, but presumably that kind of cheating is much easier to do now because you don't actually have to go out and buy the module.
You have to buy it.
You have to buy it to cheat. And again,
so that's taken away from me as a youngster. So do
you think we've got many people that do that?
We do, yeah.
We do.
Well, I know.
Could you just?
I'm not going to name names.
Just give me a list. I'll deal with them. Okay.
What do you use to cut off people's fingers?
So I find the secateurs are really good. I don't know if I said that rightly, but like
Say
the
that again,
gardening
Mark.
ones that have got the
Handheld garden
curve.
shears. That's the ones.
Yeah.
I quite like the guillotine things you get in art classes.
Let's
They're easy to bring along. I'm sure there's one at the club somewhere.
just hold on. Listen, if you are in our society, if you play at Dice on the Hill and you read ahead, you're a wrong one.
I thought you were about to threaten to cut their fingers off. I mean, this could get very dark and sinister, can't it?
No.
For legal
You
reasons.
see, you need to understand the legalities. The threat should be implied. That makes the subsequent court case much more likely to go in my favour.
So 2 weeks after this episode goes live and our society drops down to two-fifths of what it was before. Yeah.
No, I'm going to come out and say this. I'm genuinely shocked that you say that there are... I don't think have I ever been at a table with someone that you think does it?
Oh, it's just narrowing it down now.
Actually, no. The table that we have and we played in, generally speaking, no.
Yeah.
I would say not.
Okay. Okay,
Don't
so
think
by
so.
a process of elimination, I've just eliminated 6 people from my inquiries. Only another 50 or 60 to go. It's fine.
Yeah, it is relatively. Well, I find it if I know somebody's doing it, I try and avoid DMing to them, and so once bitten, twice shy. I wouldn't go back to
one of the pros of writing your own stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, I've done some most of it's pre-written scenarios, but then I tailor the stuff for the characters and the skills and all that. And if someone gets something, it's completely out of the blue because that was never written down anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when it happens, even if I have to throw away pages of stuff or tear it up in front of them. Yeah, fuck you too.
You've got peace of mind then, haven't you, that nobody's doing that. And I think that's nice as a DM to sort of...
There's a few of us that have a communally shared brain cell, and I think sometimes that backfires. But
Okay, so we're going to finish. So I didn't bring it because, Barry, you said you were going to write a word of wisdom for Stephen.
No.
Did you not?
No. That wasn't what I said. So I've been on a little bit of a project, right? One of the things, and this has come up in the podcast, one of the things that I absolutely love about this hobby is the mad shit that gets said. Like, I've never said the phrase, I've never heard that sentence before so many times as when I got round a TTRPG table. I'm going to start off with my absolute favourite. This is my absolute favourite. I'm growing as a person. It only took murder and drugs.
And nice. That was at a table, though, yeah?
That was absolutely at a table. That was absolutely at a table.
And hopefully in character.
As a person, I think it's in character.
This is another one that I really enjoyed as well. I don't understand how you're disappointed. Toads can't talk.
Only at a gaming table. But it's true, though.
But again, only at a gaming table. Is that going to come up?
Yeah, only at a gaming table section now. Stephen, you lost your slot.
Okay, that's fine, yeah. That's in season 2. It wasn't really my slot, was it? It was your words of wisdom you was handing to me. So I didn't read the scenario. Someone said it might. That's the funniest thing I've heard.
Right, guys, nice one. So we're finished for today. Well, somebody's got to say it.
Oh, hang on, what is it?
We'll give you that.
So let's
slice and dice.